All right, so now that we've checked our data, we're certain that it's that the loops are correct. They're all good, and the data is entered. We checked the little box down at the bottom here when we were entering our data to make sure that there's no major discrepancies between foresights and backsights. And now we're ready to take a look at some of the stats surrounding our data: total length, total depth, and to take a look at this line plot and enjoy the fruits of our labors. So in order to see the statistics, the length and depth and other things, you come up here to this little red button right there, or not red, not the red one, the one right next to it, display stats, or you can come over here to view and cave statistics, and that will open up the statistics for the file so far. And this will include all of the surveys. Right now we only have one survey, but if we had multiple, it would combine all those together and give us the total cave length and total cave depth. So here the length is 105 feet, 32 meters, and then it breaks it down to miles. Down here we've got the cave depth, and then if you even want to go more crazy, there's the volume. It doesn't have weight. I used to work at Timpanogos Cave, and I remember some of the crazy dumb questions people would ask, like, how much of this cave is underground? And how much does the cave weigh? Fortunately, it doesn't have those statistics, but it does have lots of really cool stats you can look at. And then you can go up here, there's a summary, and there's a whole bunch of other things that you can generate here, and you can play around with those. So that's how you can get some the information on the total length. This is included and excluded. So if I had used a flag to exclude certain shots in the length, then that would show me here, right here in the excluded, for completely excluded, length excluded, etc. So I could really get the actual length and not just the total of all the survey shots. So that's how we generate statistics. I'm going to close that. And now for the fun part, let's take a look at our line plot. So to check out the line plot, you select the survey file and then come here and click Process and View Cave, and it opens the cave viewer, and it also generates a plot file, a PLT file. So we're going to expand this out. There's our line plot of the cave. And so now I'm going to walk you through some of the features here that exist within the cave viewer so you can see what you can do to visualize your cave. So right now the default is I'm looking at the plan view. One thing that I've discovered, that in order to make this thing like roll around, I have to hit the enter button. You'll notice there's like a very faint green line going around the screen. Once I hit enter, that disappears and nothing really happened. But now if I were to change to the profile view, all right, I can't remember where that is up here. So, oh, there it is. Profile mode. I'll use the keyboard shortcuts a lot, so if I hit the letter V, then that will swap me between plan and profile. So I'll just hit V on the keyboard. Now that's showing me plan and profile. Now, like right now, it's just a line. If I wanted to see the survey stations, I can come over here and click this little thing, and now it labels the different survey stations in the survey. So there's how you can see the survey stations. If I want to see walls, I can go to, let's see if I can remember where that is. Display, show, passage walls. And there, that basically incorporates the left, right, up, down data so I can get a sense of the bulk of the cave. I also have the ability to rotate the line plot. So up here, if I hover over, this rotates left and right, and this pitches, which is basically rotating at the opposite direction. So here, I'll show you what I mean. So let's see, what am I on? Am I on? That's the plan view. There's the profile view. So the profile view, I'm going to rotate it. So I'm hitting the button and it's rotating. Now it's rotating relatively quickly. It's not very smooth. So how do I fix that? If I want it to rotate a little more smooth, right over here are the multipliers, and I can change that down to 1. That basically is what increments it, zooms in or out or whatever. So I will say 1, and now let's click this, and it's much smaller increments. Now I'm going to press and hold. And there, just nice and slowly rotates so I can get a sense of the cave. If I want to go a little faster, I'll change that to 3. And There we go. Smooth, but a little bit faster. So this is the profile view. And what these buttons do over here is rotate it, the pitch the other direction. So now it's rotating like that. So anyway, that's how that works. It looks like it goes one way and then the other, and then it stops when it gets to a certain point. At least it did there. Okay, now if I want to reset everything, let's see which of these buttons over here. Reset. That's going to reset. It takes us all the way back to where we were. An overview, I think, does a similar thing. And let's see. Those are some of the basics. So now I'm hitting the V on the keyboard and it's not doing anything. Let's hit Enter. There, I hit Enter, and now it's working. So if you're trying to do something and it's not working, just hit Enter on the keyboard, and that should do it. You've also got this like total geeked out thing, the stereo view. If I click on that and I put on some red-blue stereo glasses, then I can actually look at it in 3D. And then you can be a true nerd. I mean, you're nerd already, but this takes it one level higher. And then, let's see, then you can display the depth, the elevation labels. So if I click that, it'll tell me the elevation from 0 datum all the way down to whatever the ultimate depth is. So, got that. And let's see, and then one other thing that I use quite a bit is, let's see, I'm going to go into, is it display, show, if I want the legend, I can show the legend there. If I want to adjust the scale, right now it's that equals 6.4 feet. I can modify the scale. I believe that's under, let's see, preferences. Is that where it is? Display action, there it is. Scale, magnification, rotation. So I can change that to 1 inch is 20 feet. Hit OK. And now I've adjusted that scale. It's also got the north arrow there. So if I rotate this now, you'll notice that that north arrow down here in the bottom is moving to indicate what's north and south and east and west. And then let's see, what else can we show you here that's kind of cool. Let's see, what else can we show? Quads. So if you want to see that, depth bars, shadow bars, there's all kinds of things that you can play around with and just explore. I think somewhere in here you can adjust the size of the quads. So let's turn off our quads. I don't want to see those. Okay, somewhere in here you can play around with the preferences too. It's probably settings. You can display decide if it's displayed in feet or meters. And scale bar units right now are in feet. You can change that to meters per inch instead of feet per inch or meters per centimeter. There's all kinds of things. The coordinates you can play with. Interface, lots of great settings. The other thing that I use quite a bit, if I go in here to settings and then I go down to set color and fonts, this is great for visualization. Right now my stations are relatively large, so I'm going to change the font size on those. So we'll click on the station labels, hit edit, and then I can change this font down to a 5-point font. And then let's change the color as well to more of an aqua. We'll hit OK. I can apply those while I'm still working, so that's looking a little bit better. Maybe the background I'd rather have white, so I can click here, hit edit, change that to white, and hit OK, and apply it. Now the stations look really weird, so I should probably pick a different color. But anyway, that's where you can adjust all of the color settings. If you want your walls to be a certain color, you can change that here. All of those controls for making those adjustments are right there. So apply to take it back to where it was. And let me just go through and see if there's anything else that I think would be worth looking at. This you can zoom in and out. Oops. Not working because I probably have to hit enter. Let's try that again. And it might help if I do that. There we go. Okay, I'm pressing and holding this plus key and it's zooming in. You can see the scale down here is changing. Same right here. If I want to move it left or right, I can click these little arrows. Whoops. Bring that back here. And this fits it to the screen. This one allows me to click and drag it. Let's see, I believe. Click. There we go, and I can drag it around. Maybe the last thing I'll show you here is how to actually print the line plot out. One of the things that I did years ago, just in order to make Survey more pleasant for everybody, instead of having to wait on the sketcher, is that we would go in and we would just survey, like no sketching at all. So we would go through, we'd collect the data, we'd mark the stations really, really well, and then we'd come out of the cave, we'd print off the line plot, and then we'd go back in and everybody would sketch. That way nobody was sitting waiting for anyone, and you didn't have to spend time drawing out the line plot, and the line plot that you're using is completely accurate, whereas sometimes when you draw it in with pencil, the line's a little short, a little long, or it's not in the right direction. So if you wanted to do something like that, you want to enter the data and then print off the line plot. Let me show you how you can do that. So we'll go here to File, and then we'll go to Print, and let's go into Preview Print. It opens the print dialog box, and you got a couple of options here. Again, you've got all the navigation tools like you had before, but you also have the ability to multi-page print. So if I click here, let's see. Oh, never mind. You also have the ability to do multi-page print. Right now, the cave is just on one page. So I can change that so I can have 2 pages or 4 pages, or as many as I want. And then I can reposition this line plot. So right now the line plot is super tiny, but pretend for a moment that this is like a massive cave system and it's got to be on multiple pages. So I can move this over, and now that if this expanded all over the place, I could print it to the right scale. So 1 inch is 20 feet, and it would be the size that I needed to be for sketching purposes. So once you've got it all arranged here on multiple pages, you just check these little boxes up here, these tiny little boxes, for the ones that you're going to print, like that. And then you hit the multi-page print button. Now there's also some setup here, so you can go here, you can adjust. Right now it's set for letter. You can do it landscape if you wanted to on your printer. Let's see, what other options were there? Okay, so here's some more options before you print it. Do you want to show the legend down here where you have the scale and the north arrow? I usually like to have that on there because that's good information to have. I can have a border around the page if I want to, or I can have no border and no corner marks if I want. I can go into settings here. This controls how much overlap there is from one page to another. And I can't remember what I don't know what the tie-in does. But anyway, that's kind of the main stuff. And then we'll hit OK. So now the border's gone, and it's just showing the line plot. So the colors here right now, it's red and the blue, which are the colors that I've selected. So if that's not working for me, if those stations are too light, I want the line to be blue, or I want it to be light gray and the stations to be dark gray, then I can change that back over here. I just close this print preview and then change it up here in the preferences, get the colors exactly how I want it, and do all that before I print it. But once you've done all of that, then you just click on this multi-page print button, hit OK, and then it's going to print all 4 of these pages. Instead of if you click the single page print, it'll just print 1 page. So that's how you can print that off. Then you give everybody the pages that they need, and then they go in and sketch. Now right now it is the profile view, I believe. So if I close that, notice everything's changed because I had adjusted the position back in the print dialog box. It adjusted it here. I'm going to hit V. So now this is the, let's see, this is the plan view, I believe. And then we can just go right back to print, and we'll go to preview print, and then we can adjust it. So now it's thrown off the position here. So we will make an adjustment. And maybe this time I just want it on 2 pages. So it's not there because it's like way off the page. Let's fix that. And then I can go ahead and hit the multi-page print, and there we go. So I think that's it on using the viewer. That's the basics for the Cave viewer. And in the next video, let's go into exporting this as an SVG file so we can get it into Illustrator or Inkscape or whatever SVG graphic software you're using to build your map.